Saladin, a skilled Muslim leader, united the Muslim world and led a successful campaign to retake Jerusalem in 1187. His rise to power began with consolidating his rule over Egypt and Syria, creating a united front against the Crusaders. Saladin was known for his fairness, bravery, and commitment to justice, earning him respect even from his enemies. After years of warfare, the Crusaders had grown weak, divided by internal conflicts and struggles for power. Saladin saw the opportunity to strike when the Crusader states were vulnerable and gathered his forces to prepare. The Crusaders had controlled Jerusalem since 1099, following the First Crusade, a significant victory for Christian forces. Saladin's army was large and well-trained, consisting of diverse warriors from different regions of the Muslim world. His troops included cavalry, archers, and infantry, each vital to the success of his campaign to retake Jerusalem. The Battle of Hattin in 1187 proved to be a decisive moment in Saladin's quest to reclaim the Holy City. At Hattin, Saladin's forces crushed the Crusader army, capturing the True Cross and many of the Christian leaders. After his victory at Hattin, Saladin set his sights on Jerusalem, the heart of the Crusader presence in the region. Saladin's strategy was methodical, ensuring that he isolated Jerusalem by capturing surrounding Crusader fortresses. The Muslim army laid siege to Jerusalem, surrounding the city and cutting off its supplies and reinforcements. Inside the city, the Crusader defenders were heavily outnumbered and low on supplies, weakening their resolve. Saladin's siege tactics included undermining the city's walls and launching continuous assaults on its defenses. Despite their precarious position, the Crusader leaders initially refused to negotiate a surrender with Saladin. Saladin, however, offered terms that would spare the civilian population if the city surrendered peacefully. The Crusaders eventually realized they had no hope of holding the city and agreed to negotiate with Saladin. On October 2, 1187, Jerusalem surrendered to Saladin, marking the end of 88 years of Christian rule over the city. Saladin's entry into Jerusalem was marked by a sense of triumph, but also by his famous acts of mercy and restraint. Unlike the Crusaders in 1099, who had massacred the city's inhabitants, Saladin spared the lives of civilians. Saladin allowed Christian pilgrims to visit their holy sites and permitted the continuation of Christian worship. His treatment of Jerusalem's Christian and Jewish populations earned him widespread admiration and respect. The reconquest of Jerusalem was seen as a major victory for the Muslim world and a personal triumph for Saladin. Saladin's victory at Jerusalem reignited the crusading spirit in Europe, leading to the Third Crusade in 1189. Saladin's reputation grew, not only for his military prowess but also for his chivalry and magnanimous conduct. European leaders, including Richard the Lionheart, were deeply impressed by Saladin's sense of honor in war. Saladin and Richard would later meet on the battlefield during the Third Crusade, with mutual respect between them. The recapture of Jerusalem did not mark the end of Saladin's challenges, as the Crusaders sought to reclaim it. Despite several battles during the Third Crusade, Jerusalem remained in Muslim hands under Saladin's rule. Saladin's leadership extended beyond the battlefield. He worked to rebuild Jerusalem and restore its holy sites. He sought to protect the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque, sacred to Muslims, ensuring their preservation. Saladin's reforms helped to restore stability to the region, uniting the Muslim states in defense of their lands. His commitment to justice and fairness made him a beloved figure among his people, securing his legacy for centuries. The fall of Jerusalem in 1187 was a turning point in the history of the Crusades, shifting the balance of power. Saladin's triumph at Jerusalem inspired poets, writers, and historians, who chronicled his deeds for posterity. His legacy continues to be celebrated in the Muslim world, symbolizing resistance and triumph over adversity. Saladin's ability to unite different factions within the Muslim world was key to his success against the Crusaders. He balanced diplomacy and military strength, forging alliances while maintaining a disciplined, effective army. Saladin's sense of religious duty motivated him to liberate Jerusalem, a city sacred to all Abrahamic faiths. After Jerusalem's fall, Saladin continued his campaign to secure other Crusader-held cities and fortresses. His victories were not achieved without cost, as Saladin faced considerable losses in both men and resources. Despite these challenges, Saladin's resolve never wavered, and his leadership remained a model of perseverance. The Third Crusade tested Saladin's strength, as European powers rallied to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control. Richard the Lionheart and Saladin's forces clashed repeatedly, with neither side gaining a decisive victory. Although the Crusaders failed to retake Jerusalem, they did recapture several coastal cities in the Holy Land. Saladin's ability to maintain control over Jerusalem during the Third Crusade cemented his status as a great leader. The truce between Richard and Saladin in 1192 allowed Christian pilgrims to visit Jerusalem peacefully. Saladin's health began to decline shortly after the Third Crusade, yet his influence remained strong in the region. He died in 1193, leaving behind a legacy of leadership, military strategy, and religious devotion. Saladin's dynasty, the Ayyubids, continued to rule parts of the Middle East, though they faced new challenges. His successors struggled to maintain the unity he had forged, as internal divisions weakened the Ayyubid state. Saladin's image as a just ruler transcended his era, becoming a symbol of noble leadership in the Muslim world. Historians have praised his ability to balance faith, politics, and warfare in a time of great upheaval. Saladin's triumph at Jerusalem remains one of the most celebrated events in Islamic and medieval history. His respect for other faiths and his commitment to protecting Jerusalem's sacred sites set him apart from others. Saladin's story is not only one of military victory but also of diplomacy, wisdom, and cultural understanding. His reputation as a chivalrous and honorable warrior leader resonated with both Muslims and Christians alike. The retaking of Jerusalem by Saladin marked the beginning of a new chapter in the history of the Holy Land. Many European knights who fought against Saladin returned home with tales of his nobility and fairness. Saladin's triumph changed the course of the Crusades, forcing Europe to rethink its strategies and alliances. The fall of Jerusalem to Saladin inspired calls for a new crusade, leading to increased tension in Europe. Saladin's leadership extended beyond war. He was known for promoting education and supporting scholars. His court in Damascus became a center of learning, attracting scholars, poets, and scientists from all over. The world of Saladin was one of cultural exchange, where Muslim, Christian, and Jewish ideas intersected. Saladin's vision for a united Muslim world was realized through his victories and his ability to forge alliances. His devotion to the cause of Islam and the liberation of Jerusalem made him a hero in the eyes of many. Saladin's triumph was not built on cruelty or tyranny but on justice, mercy, and a deep sense of duty. His example influenced future generations of Muslim leaders who sought to emulate his ideals and successes. Saladin's triumph at Jerusalem remains a defining moment in the history of the Middle East and the Crusades. His leadership has been studied by military historians for its strategic brilliance and effective use of resources. Saladin's victory was not just a conquest, but a symbol of the resilience and unity of the Muslim world. The reconquest of Jerusalem by Saladin reshaped the political and religious landscape of the Holy Land. His legacy continues to inspire those who seek justice, peace, and unity in a divided and complex world. Saladin's triumph at Jerusalem is remembered as a moment when compassion and justice prevailed in warfare. His ability to lead with both strength and compassion made him one of the greatest leaders in world history. Saladin's triumph at Jerusalem is still celebrated today as a victory of faith, justice, and military skill. His name remains synonymous with honor, leadership, and the pursuit of justice in the face of great odds. The legacy of Saladin's triumph has echoed through the centuries, leaving an indelible mark on history. Saladin's achievements serve as a reminder that true leadership is grounded in justice, mercy, and wisdom.